In this video, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't be a real estate agent. Well, you shouldn't be a real estate agent in the traditional sense. You should be a business person that has a real estate license. So yesterday I get a call, a little text kind of that comes in from the office, and it says to call this person. They want to see some properties. Now, most real estate agents would jump all over that. My particular case, I sell a lot of investment properties. So what this usually does to me is like, okay, who wants to go see these properties? And I'm usually focused on other things with my private REIT right now. And if they want to go look at properties, who are you? Because let's face it, there's really rough properties and then easy properties. And then when you're new to real estate investing, both of them can scare you. One, it's either too perfect and it's going to be too expensive, or it's too rough and it's going to need a lot of work. So the message comes in right around 4 or 5 o'clock, and my kids are home. I sent it to my assistant. I'm like, hey, can you just reach out to this person, gather all the information, and then come back to me? It's usually what I do. It saves me a lot of time. The person wrote back to my assistant, I'm waiting for Jeff's call. I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, all right. And then you have this quick moment of, is this like the hottest lead you're ever going to have? Like, do I call it, or do I use my intuition and say, this is probably going to be bad? But what did I do? I ended up texting the person and I say, hey, this is Jeff Weibel. How can I help? Now, normally, most people will write you back saying, oh, hi, Jeff. I just would love to see some investment properties. The person says, can you call me? And it's, you know, I work in a texting world and a lot of people don't, at least the older people. So I call this person and this person's like, well, I'm old school. I don't do the texting thing. Now, I get it. Like, there's the people that are going to say that the new gen, YouTube, whatever it is, I don't do that. I don't watch that. I'm old school. We go to dinner, we shake hands, we get deals done. But, if you really want to pull that back, it's like, if you're old school, that means you've been to the school of business and now you've watched business evolve and you've forgotten to evolve. So you are immediately on the phone call and you're saying, I'm old school. I don't do this. I don't do the texting. But you don't realize that that's the business world is where it's at currently. That's like if I'm right now in this world making money in real estate, and all of a sudden in 10 years we are doing deals in the metaverse, and I'm like, I'm old school, man. I only do DocuSign, no metaverse for me. Well, that doesn't sound like a very good businessman if I'm sitting here today right now, if in 2030 we're all signing deals in the metaverse and we're all meeting in person and we're going over deals and virtual helmets on and Ray-Bans and looking at properties. No, man, I only do FaceTime. I don't do Ray-Ban glasses. Seems ridiculous, right? So anyways, we're starting off on a little bit of a rocky foot. And, again, I have my private REIT, and that's where my main focus is. And I like to help out the clients that I enjoy working with. And right away, I kind of got my stepping back a bit because the person's calling right away thinking they're doing me a favor. They want to like interview me right away. And I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but with 3 kids right now, a young puppy, and all my stuff going on, I have to like guard my time. And this person wants to come to the city and view X amount of properties on a Saturday. Again, if you go back and you watch my original real estate agent course, that would have been like my bread and butter, right? Like someone wants to go see stuff, let's get out there, let's go do it. Someone's calling you, answer the phone. I say this all, it's in the free course. We'll post the link up here. You guys can watch it. It's all free on YouTube right now. But when you're a bit more experienced, you have to guard your time. Do I want to go out on Saturday between 1 and 4, go show a bunch of properties, and I'm telling them, I'm like, this one's rough. You're going to go in and say it's rough and it's going to need a lot of work. And new investors will say, oh, that's fine. Let's go look at it. And, in my experience, we get done those showings and then they say, yeah, it's a little too rough for me. I'm like, I have showed you pictures. I have told you. I told you it was a war zone. I don't know whether adjectives I could describe it. It's a crack house. It is bad. It is for experience. And okay, so when the new people are calling, I already kind of like know. And that's the difference between maybe a residential realtor, because if someone wants to go look at houses, you're like, yes, that's a shot at the money. Whereas in investment properties, I have to become their coach essentially. And it's like, do I want to coach this person And if they're already telling me that they're so old school, I'm like, okay, it's going to be so difficult because one, I don't have a printer. So what are we going to do? Go print out offers and go write it? Again, there's that slight chance I could be missing out on money. But in my experience, every time I still make the mistake sometimes of thinking, oh, maybe this person will be different. Anyways, she wants to go see all these properties, and I say, well, I can have my assistant set them up, and you can go look at them, and then afterwards you can call me and we can talk about them and why you should buy them and why you shouldn't. No, I only want to work with one person. And I'm like, well, it's just not how I'm working right now. I'm guarding my time. Uh, I send my assistant to do the showings. I really haven't done a showing practically since before the pandemic, yet I've still made money in real estate. And that's why we get back to the beginning of the video. It's, yes, be a real estate agent, but use it as a business license. Like that's what I'm using the license for, is being a businessman. And yeah, she was just being difficult on that. And then, it's a shot in the dark. So I throw the segue that I have my private REIT. You can invest in the REIT because, newer investors call about duplexes and triplexes. And sure, that's how I started. And maybe you guys are starting like that too. But right now in Southwestern Ontario, very difficult to find deals that are actually going to make sense in the duplex, triplex level. So it's a natural segue for me to mention the REIT, and because it's a good way for investors to make their money early on. They can pull their money out later, a couple years down the line, if prices in those smaller assets come down, and they can go invest in there. Again, it's difficult because these crappy properties take a lot of work. You have to know how to either hire renovations or do the renovations to make the money. Whereas the REIT is just such a turnkey solution. Obviously, I benefit, but then so does the investor because they get their returns for doing nothing, right? So pitch that, and she's like, well, I'd like to meet. And I'm like, oh, okay, I could meet you for that. She's like, oh, you'd meet me for that, but not for this? And I'm like, well, kinda, yeah, I would actually. I would love to go meet certain investors if they're going to be interested in investing in the REIT, but not necessarily spend my entire Saturday showing low-level multifamily properties that usually end in the buyer not ready to pull the trigger because either A, it's too expensive, or B, it needs too much work. See where the problem is? So she's very interested in that. She says she'll send me her email afterwards, and I get to the end of the call. It's like 26 minutes, right over dinner. I know it sounds like first world problems, but this is why I love to guard my time, because I didn't have dinner with my family that night. I sat in the office, and so after, she never sent me her email. So the money's in the follow-up is what I always say. Very important. If you're still in the video, listen to that. Following up will make you so much money. Anyways, I follow up because that's just what I do. And, oh, can you send me your email? I get the message back, sorry, my investment partner doesn't want to invest in the REIT. And I'm like, or just in general, doesn't even understand it. So just threw it right under the bus immediately. And, you have that moment of, do I fight this, or do I just say, okay, have a nice day? And it's like, you wanted me to go out on my Saturday. And I get, people think real estate agents are just in this sales business and this is all we do. But the more experienced ones, it's that upfront questioning. So I did have that 26-minute phone call, which might have saved me 6 hours of my time later on. And it's one of those chicken and the egg things. The more experience you get, the better you can kind of see it. So right away, lots of red flags, and maybe I dodged a big bullet there, because you never know. These are the people that probably end up trying to sue real estate agents because I didn't make money on this deal, so blah, blah, blah. So anyways, moral of the story is trust your gut. Stop, these people want to change my business. I have the way I do things. You want to hire me? Fine, but you're doing it my way. And go ahead and find somebody else. It's okay. I don't need it. I need to spend time with my family. That's why we get into real estate, right? I'm not in it to run out the door anymore. Those days are over. If you want, it's still very important if you're brand new to do that, okay? But just keep in the back of your mind, some of this could be time wasting. I like doing that when I was brand new, because I was learning the properties and learning a lot more and getting more comfortable talking to clients and, talking to tenants and doing all the keys and the locks and learning about the houses. you get past 5 years, you've done it. You've practically seen every multifamily in the city. You understand it all. You understand the rules. There's not much more to it, right? So take these tips if you will, and happy to get back on here talking to you guys. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, lots of great overall real estate tips, not just real estate agent tips. We've got real estate investing tips, money tips, and happy to be talking to you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on my next video.